everyone, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been a subscriber for a while. I gather I have a few new subscribers. Thank you so much to Scott for the shout out. I don't think I've ever been featured like that in anybody's booktube. You know, best of whatever, I read booktubers, anything. I don't even really think of myself as an official booktuber, but I guess I've arrived. Hopefully I can live up to whatever hype there was. I'm not feeling any pressure, no pressure whatsoever. Thanks, Scott. If you're new to my channel, I do have a crazy puppy who's going to be crazy, and is perhaps the reason why Scott referred to my videos as being chaotic. Or maybe it's me, I'm not sure. He also said I was witty, so he could just be exaggerating everything. But what you can expect to see here, all the sort of regular type of booktube content that is I'm pretty consistent with, things like regular TBRs, regular wrap-ups or reviews, a few tags here and there. I love doing a good book haul, which is what we're here for today. And occasionally I'll do reading vlogs. I've been doing them a little bit less and less because I notice that they have the least views. But if you're someone who likes reading vlogs, mine tend to be pretty long. So just let me know in the comments below what kind of content you like. It's very exciting to have so many new people here, and shout out myself to all those subscribers who've been with me for a while and who watch regularly. I kind of like just being a quiet little corner of the internet, and I do this. Those of you who don't know me should know that I just do this as a hobby, and it's just really for myself, for fun. And that's why probably Scott said, you know, she doesn't take herself too seriously. I really don't take it too seriously, and I ramble, and I sometimes repeat myself. Usually the themes are the dog being annoying and crazy, the weather being whatever the weather's doing, my hair bugs me a lot, and also the lighting and the setup of the YouTube camera also bugs me. But anyway, hopefully that you'll enjoy stopping by my channel from time to time. And if you like what you see, you know, you can encourage me by just writing something in the comments below. I really do want to encourage discussion on my channel, so I don't have any problem if you disagree with me. In fact, I welcome it. Just, you know, hopefully you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts, because that's always where the good stuff is, in the comment below. So thanks again so much for coming by, thanks for subscribing, and thanks so much to Scott for highlighting my channel that way. You've always been such a big supporter of my channel, and I really appreciate it. It's really sweet coming from you. It's a massive compliment. And yeah, I feel like almost just, you know, a bit shy and a little bit humbled. So hopefully I'll get over that. Anyhow, I'm here to do a book haul, so let's get into that, shall we? Seriously, my dog takes over a little bit. He's so annoying. As soon as I turn the camera on, he just gets more and more excited. So yeah, if you're around this channel, you're just going to have to put up with the nonsense of that. Purely Nola is the reason why Scott called my channel chaotic, I swear. So I thought I would hop on and do what I've been dying to do for a while now, which is a book haul, because I've been collecting books over the last couple of months, and actually I've started reading some of them and thought, oh boy. I'm definitely not one of those people who's going to go on a book ban or book buying ban. So what have I been buying? I've been buying a pretty eclectic mix of books. It's been a lot of, oh, I heard that was good. Oh, didn't someone mention this book? Kind of shopping, and a little bit of intentional shopping. One of the things that I wanted to try to do this year is to read more short story collections. So I have a couple of short story collections that I picked up. Hi, you're gonna help me with the book haul? This book actually I got for Christmas this year. This is a short story collection called Filthy Animals by Brandon Taylor. I read Real Life last year and really liked it. So, and I've heard really good things about this series of short stories. It says Filthy Animals is a tender portrait of the fierce longing for intimacy. Sometimes Okay, so those of you, I guess I should just say, those of you who are new to my channel, you're going to discover some things about me as you watch my videos and if you stick around, and I hope you do. I'm so excited. I woke up and there was like, I kept looking at the numbers, they kept going up, and I was like, oh, am I going to have more than 200 subscribers? That would be crazy. I knew something had happened because I checked and the numbers were going up, and I was like, oh, somebody mentioned me. It's the only way. I haven't figured out how to do the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. I should introduce myself. My name's Jazz, and I live in Canada, where the weather right now is snowy and cold. Actually, specifically Montreal. I mispronounce names too often. That's another issue. So I have some recurring themes on my channel that you will hopefully not be annoyed by, and you might get used to. Oh yeah, so the other thing is that if you're around my channel, you'll know I'm not a fan of reading the back of books. Sometimes, yes, I revert to it because I blank and I don't know what I want to say about the book. So I will. I don't like to read the backs of the books because I don't want to have too much given away before I read the story. So, and even when I watch YouTubers, I don't mind it quite as much for some reason, but I don't know what it is about reading the backs. I just don't like reading the backs of the books. And also I don't like hardcover books, which is kind of annoying because a lot of the books when they first come out, they're in hardcover. Anyway, publishers out there, if you're paying attention, why not just publish in softcover? Anybody agree? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, and by the way, I encourage people to get their opinions out in the comments below. I welcome opinions that are different from mine. I am not, like, I like the idea of BookTube because it allows us to have a conversation and have a discussion about books. And actually by profession, I'm a teacher. So of course I encourage people to give their opinions, give their voice, give their point of view as much as possible. So hopefully that resonates as well on my channel and you feel secure enough to give your opinion in the comments below about any of these books or on my other videos. If you're watching something and you have a different opinion about a book that I liked or recommend or dislike, I'm always curious about what other people think. So this is How High We Go in the Dark, which a lot of people have been talking about. I think they're interconnected short stories from what I understand, and I have seen quite a few people talk about this book at this point. But yeah, it says if you like Station 11, and I love St. John Mandel, of course, that's a marketing thing when they say, oh, it's like this book. Ironically, it says if you like Cloud Atlas and Station 11, and I was not a fan of Cloud Atlas. So I don't know if the two are, I think they're mutually exclusive potentially, but I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this. Anyway, I've heard that it's dark, but I've heard that it's good. So I picked that up. Hopefully I will get to it soon. How to Pronounce Knife is another one I picked up. I'm actually reading it this month. I already started it. I'm enjoying it so far, but I've only read the first 2 stories. Souvankham Thammavongsa. Oh, that's a hard one. She is Canadian, which is super cool. I do like to try to read as much CanLit as I can, not at the expense of other literature, but I do think that being Canadian, I want to read Canadian authors and have quite a few in my library. So people have been talking about this a lot last year or the year before. It won the Giller Prize for 2020, so 2 years ago. So yeah, and this is like, I think a bunch of stories about people like fitting in and belonging. So far that seems to be one of the themes. And it's interesting because the first story, well, this is a book called, but the first story I've already read, and it's literally like about the struggles to pronounce different things when you're from a culture where the language is completely different, and there are certain things that are very difficult for some people to pronounce. And even conceptually, the idea that knife is the silent K. Anyway, that's the other thing. If you're new to my channel, I can also digress a little bit. Like, maybe that's also why Scott said I was chaotic. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for those of you that are like here and you've been here for so long, and those of you who are new and subscribing. I mean, I hope you stick around. If not for me, then for the chaos. The next book that I'm reading for the next 2 books are books that I'm reading for my book club, and one of them I'm like, meh. I didn't even really want to buy it, but I did buy it because it just seemed like it was either that or just not participate in this month's book club. But I know it's not going to be a book. It's a book that I would probably DNF, which is, what does that say about me when you buy a book that you think you're probably not going to like, that you would probably DNF? What does that say about me? Uh-oh. So that's The House in the Pines by Anna. I don't know if it's Reyes or Reyes. I don't know how to pronounce this woman's last name. About a woman who sees a video of a woman on YouTube, and she apparently dies in the video, and she thinks that she knows the man that the woman is with. So she knows the man in the video, and she thinks that the man in the video is somehow responsible for the death of her friend from pre-university years. That's really all I know about it. I'm not sure quite why it's called The House in the Pines yet. A thriller, mystery, psychological thriller. And I'm not sure. As I said, this is a book that I bought for book club, and I'm already this far through, and I don't want to really read it. It's not good. And the other one that that has been chosen for my other book club is a Canadian novel called Bellevue Square by Michael Redhill, which I've not heard of before. He is also a Giller Prize winner. He's a poet and playwright. This is the winner of the 2017 Giller Prize. Look at that. So this is another murder mystery. Jean Mason has a doppelganger. Like, that's the opening of the synopsis in the back. And I don't even really want to read any more than that. I think there's a murder involved. I do think it's it says mystifying and haunting and entirely its own. It says, in the starkly comic novel, Michael Redhill takes readers down an existential rabbit hole. Sounds right up my alley, actually. Exploring the surprising and disturbing plasticity of self, and what happens when the sense you've made of things stops making sense. Okay, this sounds like it could be really good. If it's well done, it could be really, really good. So I'm excited to read this one. The one that I did pick up that I'm currently reading that I would include in this haul is The Trees by Percival Everett. I am very much enjoying this so far, about 100 pages in. It's about a series of murders that take place in Money, Mississippi. Sorry, we're not going to be able to get rid of all the background noise because of the puppy. This is a series of murders that take place in Money, Mississippi, where the murders, like the ghost of Emmett Till appears at the crime scene of these two murdered white men. I think it's like going to be a pretty intense exploration of white supremacy and police brutality, but told through this kind of murder mystery. And so far it's been quite funny in places. So I'm really enjoying it so far, and I think it's going to be really good. And I've heard a lot of praise for The Trees, so I will report back when I finish reading it. That's just Nola chewing his bone, so I hope that doesn't bother anyone. But that will keep him the most chill for the rest of the video if he's allowed. If he can do that, the rest of the video will be pretty chill. I really enjoyed Claire Fuller's Unsettled Ground. It was in my top books for 2021. My daughter went ahead and got me a couple of Claire Fullers for Christmas. One of them was this Our Endless Numbered Days, which I don't have. This one is about an 8-year-old in 1976. She spends her summer camping with her father and playing the music of the Railway Children and listening to her mother's grand piano. And it just says her life is about to change. Her father is a survivalist. Something happens to her, and yeah, I don't want to know. I want to find out by reading it because I already know that I like Claire Fuller, and I don't need to know. I don't really feel like I need to know a lot about a plot to know that I want to try to read a book. Like if it's recommended by someone that I know, or if it's conceptually something that seems interesting, then I'm probably going to pick it up. I really hope that the chewing of the bone is not too annoying for everyone. Oh, so this book, Fortune Men by Nadifa Mohamed. I was really excited to pick this up because I thought it sounded really interesting. And then Scott just kind of had negative things to say about this author, which anyway, I think I'm going to take Scott with a grain of salt because he didn't like Little Foxes, which was on my top 10 of last year. So I like him. He's great. But I'm also going to just go ahead and continue to read things even if he doesn't like them. Read things that maybe he doesn't like, because I think he's a bit, well, he's particular in a certain way, which is totally fine. But I'm still going to read this because I've heard really, really good things about it. It's set in Cardiff in 1952, and it's about a story about race and the police and murder, problems with the justice system. And I'm looking forward to reading it. I hope I got all of that right. I mean, that's based on sort of what I've heard about it. I think this could be really good. There seems to be a bit of a theme in terms of, you know, the trees and the fortune men and some of these other books. I think it's still really interesting to read those stories and read from those voices. Switching gears a little bit, I did pick up Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, and maybe I'm a little bit late to the party, but as I said, I don't like to buy hardcover books, so I was waiting for this to come out in a soft cover. This sounded really interesting to me as well when it was making the rounds on BookTube. It's about a woman, a professor, I believe, who has an extramarital affair, popular English professor whose charismatic husband at the same small liberal arts college is under investigation. Oh, right, for inappropriate relationships with his former students. But then I think she has an affair, or she becomes infatuated with a young novelist. Anyway, so it sounds kind of scandalous and like it's a lot of fun. And I've heard people say that it is both those things. So looking forward to reading that one. And then I picked up a copy of All's Well. I've been waiting for this to come out in paperback. I really, 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 really like Mona Awad's writing. I read Bunny almost like at the beginnings of my BookTube life, beginnings of my life on BookTube. I discovered Mona Awad. I had picked up 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl in a used bookstore here, and then I read Bunny because I'd heard from, I think it was Kayla at Books and Lala, because I think that's like one of her favorite books. And she was one of the first people that I watched on BookTube, because she's of course such a huge, such a huge booktuber. And I loved Bunny. And then I just got really excited about Mona Awad, and I was like, I think she's going to be my favorite writer of all time. But then people had some pretty negative things to say about All's Well, including Kayla from Books and Lala, and I just thought, oh, that's disappointing. I hope it's not. But I am still going to read it because I actually think it probably is really interesting. It's about a woman who directing a Shakespearean play, Shakespeare's most maligned play, All's Well That Ends Well, I guess. She has her own struggle with a chronic disease, and I think it's exploring the idea of chronic disease. I mean, for sure, Mona Awad is a really good writer, and you can check out the vlog where I read Bunny. I just got so excited about discovering her as a writer, and I love Bunny. It's one of my favorite books. So it can't be that bad, right? I hope it doesn't. I hope it's not gonna really burst my bubble of Mona Awad, because I like 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl as well. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint, or every author can have their less sort of great works, but hopefully it's not so bad that I'm like reconsidering her as one of my faves. And then I picked up this one, The Memoirs of Stockholm, Sven. I can't remember who I had heard talking about this book by Nathaniel Ian Miller, but it sounds like it could be, well, I don't know, philosophical and sort of therapeutic in a certain way. It's very wintry outside here in Montreal. Lots of snow, and we had very cold weather. So it might be the right time of year to read something like this that's set in the Arctic archipelago, where darkness reigns 4 months of the year in 1916. I think this is about like a man sort of doing the solo thing, living in isolation. Then a series of surprising events happen that maybe take him out of that, or take him to find, it's like a found family story perhaps. So I think this could be good. I think this might be something I'd like to read before winter, before spring springs. Well, we still have the winter weather because it's the right mood. But, you know, with all of these things, it's like, it's just so hard to move things up your TBR. Like, I know the Women's Prize announcement's coming in March, and then there'll be other books that we want to read. And, I mean, I buy all these books and then I end up not being able to make as much time to read them. But that will not stop me from buying them. It is like one of my major pleasures of life and a major serotonin fix for me. So I'm not going to not do that. It's like one of my major treats is to go book shopping. And I went to this lovely place, an independent bookstore, which is where I took the photo for my thumbnail. And I will leave a link to their, well, Instagram or their promotional stuff down below. It's in St. Henry in Montreal, and it's called St. Henry Books. I love that place. Actually, I went to St. Henry Books. I'll talk about one more book and then I'll talk about the books that I just got at St. Henry Books when I was there. So I picked up also Fake Accounts by Lauren Oyler. This I had heard about some years back and was waiting for it to come out. It's from 2021 and I had been waiting for it to come out in soft cover. And it's one of those books that is looking at the role of the internet and fake accounts on the internet. And it's a woman who discovers that her boyfriend has this fake life online where he's part of a right-wing nationalist populist movement. But then she also decides to explore the idea of identity online and how she can explore different identities online for herself. Is what I understand. And I think it could be really, I mean, I'm not sure if it's completely successful in its execution, but it sounds like it could be a really interesting, thought-provoking book to read. And I think the cover is so cool. Isn't that cool? No, I don't buy books for their covers only or the title only. Sometimes it's true. Actually, so these are the three that I picked up today at these are the last three that I picked up today at St. Henry Books. And this book I did pick up because of its title and its cover, and then a very brief bit that I read on the back. And I just don't know. I just thought it sounded interesting. So it's called The Rooftop Garden by, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce her name right. She's a writer and journalist based in Toronto, and this is a debut novel. And what kind of got me was, it says, Menaka Raman-Wilms' The Rooftop Garden combines the imagery and psychological depth of literary fiction with elements of the political thriller. And that's all I read. I haven't read anything else about it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to read that. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Debut novels are always a little tricky because, you know, they're not going to be necessarily as good when it comes to the writing and the character development and elements and so forth. But I think that, I don't know, I like reading debut novels. I think I like hearing new voices. So I'm hopeful that this will be good. And I was told by the salesperson at St. Henry Books that they've been hearing a lot of good things about it. So picked it up. Such a sucker. I'm such a sucker. I also picked up Milkfed by Melissa Broder because I've been hearing so many things about Milkfed. And I can't remember who I was talking to who was like, you have to read Milkfed because you would really like it. I think it'd be really up your alley. So it's about Rachel, a 24-year-old lapsed Jew who has made calorie restriction her religion. I think it's about food. It says it's about food, sex, and God. And she's the author of The Pisces, which I also almost picked up today. That's the one with the fish, the woman who, I don't know, does she have sex with the fish? I read it and I didn't pick it up, but because I thought, well, I'll start here because, I don't know, people have been telling me that I should read this. Yeah, if you have any recommendations of books for me, well, you might not know me well enough yet if you're a new subscriber, but really these aren't duds. Like, I've been staying away from this one because I'm like, oh, I don't know, is it too weird for me? But I think I'm okay with weird. I don't know, I'm not sure. But I still got it so I could dive into it. Like, if you don't have it at home, the chances are of you reading it, for me anyway, are much, much, much lower. I need to have them on my shelves. I need to look at them. They need to be staring at me for me to eventually get to them, unless it's like I'm reading it because it's a buddy read or I'm reading it because it's in my book club or what have you. And then the last one is a book that was recommended to me by people in one of my book clubs, and I've heard other people talking about it, and I hope it's not too commercial for my liking. People keep saying how good it is. It's called The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocumb. I don't know. This is about, I think, a violinist, a gifted individual who, and just maybe the story about how he is successful. He goes into a competition and how he proves himself. Anyway, it was described to me in more detail, but it didn't stick with me. I don't know. I love reading books about music, so hopefully it will be in part about music. I just finished reading Bel Canto, which I could have put on this list, and I will talk about when I wrap. I'll just grab it. I could have talked about this in my book haul, maybe more as one of the books that I hauled, because it was given to me as a gift for Christmas as well, because I'm a fan of Anne Patchett, and I just finished Bel Canto, and it's about music. It's a big part of the story, and I really, really enjoyed it. But I'll wait and talk about that for when I do a wrap, which will be coming soon. I think I'm just going to do the first 6 books I read of the year, or the first 8 books, whatever it ends up being for next week's video, or the one after. We'll see. So if you're new to my channel, like I say, thank you so much for signing up to watch my chaotic videos. And yeah, I just think my only request really of my subscribers is to engage in the comments below if you feel like it. But if you just feel like watching and find it comforting to watch, that's totally fine too. And yeah, I try to be consistent in my uploads. Life can get a little bit hectic, but I try to be consistent in my uploads. And I'm a little bit slower of a reader than some of the other booktubers out there. And I don't listen to as many books on audio. I try to take my time with my books, try to spend a bit of time with them so I can think about them and gather my thoughts about them and not have them speed by so fast that I don't remember what I read. And that's not a criticism of any other booktuber. That's just my style of booktube and reading. I don't know, 200 subscribers. I would do like a Q&A, but I don't have a community tab, and I'm gonna wait until I get 500 for that. So yeah, spread the word, y'all. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Don't forget to water your plants. Don't forget to drink water. Breathe when you're anxious. Oh my gosh, what is this? A self-help channel? All right. So happy reading, and I'll see you in the next video. So I'm just gonna go through them. Should I be eating on camera? Probably not. All right, I'll eat this orange and then I will go through the books. Clementine, not orange, clementine. Oh, speaking of eating, has anybody ever tried these? They're like shiitake mushroom crisps. I just picked them up from Costco, and I've seen some people talk about them on some of the lifestyle channels that I watch, and I'm not sure. Let me know. Let me know if you tried those before. I'm a little scared, but I did buy them, so I will try them at some point. All right. Should we go through the books in any particular order, Noah? Maybe I'll try one of these shiitake mushrooms. You guys are like, when are you going to get to the books? When is she going to get to books? Everyone who's new to my channel is going to be like, I'm not sticking around for this. She's not even talking about books yet. They'll usually calm down like halfway through the video. So the first one, as I said, is Brandon Taylor, Filthy Animals. Brandon Taylor, Filthy Animals, are you a filthy animal? That was really bad. I have like a new audience here and you guys are fighting. That's not a good look.